Hey guys, um, happy Monday first, and today I'm gonna talk more about trauma. And I put I saw that I'm live now on my phone. So what I what I want to talk about is that I want to distinguish yourself and your trauma. Nowadays, it's very popular to talk about how trauma is the reason for us to not succeed, to have problems in life, and to not be the place we should be, and everything else in this direction. But the reality of the thing is that it is true that trauma can stay on the way of some of our success, and we can struggle a lot with trauma. But the thing is, um, it's not. We are not the trauma, and that's a very important point here. We are not that. What I mean by that is, there is a book, Liz Bourbeau's book, which is the main idea of the book is to talk about the five main trauma we have been through life. So that's the most common trauma which people go through, and then how you can deal with them. Um, and in there, you can truly recognize yourself, which trauma is yours, and how you can actually work through it. And it's a great tool how you can do that. Uh, but one of the main points there, as I understood it, is that we need to distinguish ourselves from that. Because once our trauma becomes our identity, we start actually living through it. We start putting masks so that we guard in a way someone or something go there, because we believe that we cannot handle it. So it's truly important for us to realize that we are more than that, and we need to learn how to navigate ourselves in this process. I do that with a lot of my clients, and almost everyone who I've been working with, everyone actually been working with, has been through some trauma. And as you know, people who've been through these teachings, is that actually we can be traumatized even from very small things in our childhood, because we are afraid that we cannot survive there, right? And even if our parents don't give us enough attention, that can give us that they give us the impression that we are abandoned by them, and these kind of things. I'm not gonna go into depth of how we actually received the trauma and everything else, but the important part here is that you realize, I want to actually emphasize the point that um, it's great idea that we love this wound we have. It's great idea that we are aware on it, but it's not great idea to stay with it. What I mean by that is, a big part of my life during my 20s, I lived through my trauma. I got so into it, and of course, some of the methods I was using, they were sharing that you need to go through it and need to stay with it until you heal it. But then with time, I realized that actually um, this is not a good strategy, because once you really go through uh, the process of understanding that this is your trauma, and understanding that actually, um, yes, you've been through that, you learn your lessons from it, you don't need to stay there. And there is a very fine line here um, between ignoring it or paying attention to it and then move on. Ignoring it is not the idea, because if you ignore a trauma, it's gonna eat you alive, honestly. Because the pain which is there, and if you don't pay attention to it, it's gonna go through it, and it's gonna go out in different ways: anger, a lot of sadness, self-sabotaging behaviors. All of this might come on the surface if you ignore the trauma. And I'm sure that you've been through that as well. some people who are saying everything is gonna be under control. I'm taking everything under control. Everything is perfect here. No, I don't have problems. I don't have pain. I've been through that, and I know that it doesn't work because you ignore a big part of yourself. But then we go to the next extreme, which is the other extreme, which is I pay attention to it, but I stay with it like I am it. What I mean by that is I'm traumatized. I have a lot of pain inside of me, and I stay with the pain, and I'm not sure what to do, but I'm staying there because I don't want to ignore it because that's not good, and that and that and that. And a lot of people, I think, who are going through maybe therapy and other different methods there, they stay with that, and that's why you need to stay many years with that. And you might go out of it, you might stay there forever. I don't know about that. But I've been through that as well. I've tried the first one, I've tried the second one, and I don't know, they don't work. They don't work because if you stay with a trauma, you just focus all your attention on it. And if you focus your attention on it, like Tony Robbins says, where your focus goes, energy flows. So actually the energy, you become the energy of this trauma, and a traumatized energy is a very low level. I'm not going to go in depth here because I'm working with certain energy leadership assessment which clearly shows that, but for the sake of this video I'm going to tell you that this is the lowest level of energy possible. And if you actually stay with it, you become it and you live from it, you cannot create anything from this level of energy. It's very heavy, it's very constricting. You don't see opportunities, you only see problems and helplessness. And that's a problem of that. And that's why we talk about here another way to do it. I think the best way to approach trauma is to learn how to pay attention to it, learn to give it love and acceptance, and then at some point just leave it away. What I mean by that is, for example, you have trauma of abandonment in your childhood, and all your life you're afraid that you're going to be abandoned from your mate, from your girlfriend, from friends and family and everything, and you know that you don't want to go there, you're afraid of it. The best way to do it is just learn how to actually stay with it, and then if you give it enough attention, I'm not saying too much attention, I'm saying enough attention, at some point you know where to just let it go, and it's gonna heal away on the process. So just imagine that you have a physical trauma, like you hit your leg and you have the trauma there. What you do with that, right? You don't ignore it. You just go, you just put something on it, you clean it maybe, you put something there, and then what you do is you just move on and do your stuff in your life. You focus on the things you do. The same is with this trauma. Just this trauma seems different, but it's not. It's just an internal kind of wound you have. And if you learn how to actually pay attention to it and then just move on, that's going to help you to become to actually heal it. So the healing of trauma is a process of accepting it, do something about it. In this case, it's love and compassion, and then just move on. And because the love and compassion, which you're gonna actually use there, they're gonna heal the trauma. You don't need to stay with it because in the process they're gonna heal it. And of course, you can do that from time to time. You can just pay attention when you have some pain, something you just feel in your belly or in your heart area. You just stay with that. You give a little bit more love and compassion, maybe every single day at some point. But then you go on and do stuff, and then you come back and do that, and then you go on and do stuff. And in this way, you are gonna actually heal it. That's the way to heal trauma. And I love this way to healing trauma because I see how in my life that changed everything. So I guess my message today is to actually stay with this message, which I shared in these 10 minutes. Stay with this new approach. Maybe for you it's not new. It might be something you already know. It may be something you've heard before, but now you just double heard it in a way. So that will gonna give you a chance to truly stay with that. But stay with this, and if you have your own trauma, you know what trauma you have. Just try to every single day put a little bit of medicine on it. In this case, love and compassion, and then go and do your life and try it in the next maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and see how you're gonna feel. And I'm sure that you're gonna feel better, and you're gonna give yourself the chance to truly heal your painful self. And just the last thing before I go, I want to tell you is you are not your trauma. Trauma is just part of you, just a, something which is giving you, first of all, a lot of wisdom in life, because actually your trauma showed you how to truly help yourself and people. If you don't have these things, if everything is perfect, you wouldn't have any experience actually in life to learn what is the opposite of love, what is the opposite of joy. And your trauma showed you that. And actually your trauma also show you how to actually transcend it, how to heal it, and you can help a lot of people to do that. If you want a conversation about that, if you want to really go deeper in this topic, I'm here for you. Just DM, PM, wherever you are looking that you are watching this live. Just reach out to me and we can have a conversation about it. And I would love to help you in this direction. I'm doing that with any of my clients and with myself. So I love this process. Have a lovely day, and you're not your trauma. You're much bigger than that. Bye.